Round 3.
Welcome back to round 3. We've got another Affinity deck versus another Grixis deck. Um, Exciting stuff. Is this a good matchup?
This is a great matchup for Affinity. Depending on how the Grixis deck is built,
Right. That's my only thing is I have no idea what flavor of Grixis.
um, so when there was a point in time in which the metagame was just heavy Jund and Grixis, and I had to skew my Affinity deck to include 4 Etch Champions in the main.
Oh wow.
But
that
it was
seems pretty
fantastic. I
good.
mean, I couldn't lose the matchup at that point.
Right.
But
Yeah, it seems pretty darn solid.
so depending on how this Grixis deck is built, it can be a very, very strong opponent against this Affinity deck. But if it's not if he doesn't have multiple main deck Culligan commands, I can't say it's going to be like an insurmountable.
Well, I saw a counter squall, and we're fetching and shocking, so I'd
Oh, here's a
imagine
good look
we've
at
got
the
a
deck.
Delver.
Yeah, I think I saw most of the cards for a Delver deck. I didn't catch any Remands or Mana Leaks as Daniel was looking through his deck.
Sure. I mean, we only saw a small portion.
A small fraction, but
Just a smidgen.
is this a an Anger of the Gods?
I didn't see an Anger of the Gods, but
There's a lightning
wasn't
bolt.
really looking for
Okay,
it.
that was just an additional lightning bolt. The lone signal pest comes out.
What is that
with-
signal pest from?
That is a Wizards Play Network promo.
It is ugly.
Is it just ugly to
It
you?
is just ugly.
It's my bud Tugly. So this Mox Opal is on right now, and Curtis did not have any action for it. Alright, so he's messed up here. Yeah, he's going to Galvanic Blast him for 2. Whereas if he was going to do that, he should have done it while the Signal Pest was still in play. It produces 4 damage that way.
Certainly. He might have valued being able to hit a Delver higher than that.
Yeah, I guess if you're Daniel, though, you can always just change the phase.
Right.
Get
Vapor Snag the Overseer.
This is definitely an aggressive Grixis deck then. Would not be surprised if there were young Pyromancers in the main. Oh, in fact, there is one.
In hand. It's a shame that we don't have the Vapor Snag now, but pretty solid.
Yeah. So, I feel like these Spire Bluff canals have replaced the Sulfur Falls.
Okay.
How do you feel about that as a trade-off? Is that there's definitely advantage of having one over the other. Sulfur Falls comes in untapped on a naked board, turn 1.
Right. I mean, so does Spire Wolf Canal.
I'm sorry, Spire Bluff Canal does, where Sulfur Falls would be tapped because it
Right.
doesn't have another land to check with it.
So in this particular deck, where you're not really casting anything for 4+ on curve, like that's a perfectly fine trade-off to make.
Okay. Here's a Cranial Plating into Daniel's 2 cards in hand. Gonna earn the Counter Squall. Yeah, and this Affinity deck is going to need to play tight to beat this Grixis deck.
Yeah,
this is
I don't know that he's got it,
This is a deck
especially not this game.
This is a deck that has all the answers, and so when you're running out threat after threat after threat, you need to run them out in the right order, and you need to run them out at the right timing. Timing is very important to these decks. So, like for example here, if he would have he cast a Galvanic Blast there because he was able to that turn,
Right.
but if he would have held on to it,
Yeah, just slow rolled it a bit.
killing this young Pyromancer would have gone a long way to him winning the game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this young Pyromancer's holding it down right now.
Yeah.
I think the draw for Daniel is a Colgan's command.
which, if Daniel plays it right, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to deal 2 damage to the Arcbound Ravager and have Curtis discard a card. If you like destroy the Ravager and deal 2 damage to the Ornithopter, he saves the Ornithopter. If you deal 2 damage to the Ravager and destroy the Ornithopter, he sacks the Ornithopter and only has to sack 1 other permanent to save the Ravager. Okay, so let's see what modes he chooses here. Okay, so he's chosen 2 damage to the Ornithopter, destroy.
So the Ornithopter already has a
damage on it. So this was pretty sharp. Pretty sharp play from Daniel. He's got a damage on the Ornithopter. And so just sacrificing the Ravager here doesn't save it. He has to sacrifice another permanent. Alright, and that makes the Ornithopter live through 1 combat damage and 2 Kolaghan's command damage. Alright,
but now we're left with an Ornithopter and a Darksteel Citadel. Not an envious position.
This Ornithopter blocks 100% of the cards on the board, though. So, and it only dies to terminate Kolaghan's command.
You mean this terminate?
Oh, sure, yeah. That's going to do it. So
that'll do it.
Yeah, this Grixis deck just has all the answers.
Oh, yeah.
And this Affinity deck is going to have to pace itself really well. It's going to have to, figure out where it's going, where it's been, who it really is in life to get this match back in hand. I think it starts with sideboarding in however many Etch Champions Curtis owns.
Hopefully it's 4.
Hopefully it's 4. I don't want him to have an illegal deck, but hopefully he owns exactly 4 of them, and they're all sleeved up and in this deck box.
He could have more. I'd be okay with more.
You're okay with him owning, like, 20?
Yeah, just sign them all in.
20?
It's only cheating if you get caught.
Right? Yeah, just never play the 5th one.
Yeah.
Hope he doesn't Thoughtseize you.
Yeah, I mean, what are the odds of that? Thoughtseize, 3 lands, and 4 Etch Champions. No big deal.
I'll cast Life's Legacy, naming Etch Champion. Oh, man.
Lost Legacy cannot name artifacts, so you're in the clear.
Oh, nice.
Got it.
Nice. Got him.
We're in business.
I guess he could slaughter games.
He could slaughter games. He could.
Can't spell slaughter without laughter.
That's true. He could Thoughtseize one and then Surgical Extraction.
Sure. So I don't think this Grixis deck even needs to sideboard that aggressively. I might take out the Counter Squalls.
Yeah.
And any number of Counter Squall negate anything that can't target a creature.
Get it out of here.
I would remove that. I would up my number of Spell Snares. Spell Snare is one of the better counter spells against Affinity, especially when Affinity is on the play and you're on the draw.
Hits all the business.
Yeah, it hits the 8 best cards in the deck, which are the 4 Arcbound Ravagers and the 4 Cranial Platings.
But when you're on the draw, it could come down to turn too late.
Spell Snare?
Yeah.
No, it's perfect because you get to play your 1 land. So
but when you're on the draw, they can play, like, it's very possible for Affinity to have a hand where they play 2 drops on turn 1.
You're correct.
Technically correct.
Well, I mean,
the best kind of correct.
I mean, if we're gonna say that, then we.
I'm not saying it's a bad card. I'm saying like.
No, I'm saying if we're gonna. Right, I'm saying if you're gonna be like, well, Affinity can do this on turn 1, then you just might as well not sideboard at all. Like, if we're just gonna be afraid of the top 10% of turn 1 plays.
I think you still want to sideboard. Because you've got, like, Negate and Counterskull, which are very close to dead cards in this matchup.
Right.
So I think you still want to sideboard.
Alright. Grixis down to 6.
Down to 6.
Just going to scry 1 as well.
I think that's why they call it Grixis.
Here's the scry one. He's gonna leave it on top. All right, feels good about it. Here comes Affinity, Springleaf Drum, Mem Knight, make another. Ooh, turn one Thoughtseize. Now this is
getting spicy.
this is a hand I've played before.
So
we
the
see
one lander. We know he scryed to the top.
It looks like a Thought Scour, a
Collective Brutality, double Colligan's Command.
Is that a Thought Scour under there?
Yeah.
Okay. I would take this Collective Brutality. Alright, I don't agree with that, because this Collective Brutality is going to be the first rule spell.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to get to 3 mana eventually. You just, as the Affinity deck, you have to realize you're going to outpace him.
Right.
Let's see what Curtis has to follow up with. This Thought Scour hand, I took Thought Scour out of my sideboard, or Thoughtseize out of my sideboard.
Yeah.
Because I was unhappy with hands like this that Thoughtseize is great on turn 1, but it doesn't follow up into anything.
Right. It's pretty important if like you hit a good sideboard card, but the chances of that happening are pretty slim.
The other thing is that I learned this when I played Thoughtseize in Standard. You want to Thoughtseize them on the last possible turn for them to play their best card.
Correct.
So for Curtis, I would have played this Vault Scourge on turn 1 instead of the Thoughtseize, and then waited on turn 2 or even my turn 3 to play Thoughtseize, trying to get the Colgan's Command or whatever other sideboard card might be available.
Sure, and I don't know what's in his hand. I think he's got a Spell Pierce in hand.
Affinity is a Spell Pierce in hand?
Yeah.
That's very strong.
He's got to keep, with the way his mana is right now, he's got to keep a creature back to cast it, though. That's a little bit awkward. Especially since you want to have it to protect your threats.
Sure.
You're not really trying to stop his stuff from coming down.
Dan's got a lot of cards in hand. I think what he's going to want to do here is when you're not being pressured by Affinity, you can take time to set yourself up. So I think what he does here is he plays a... Yeah, sacrifice it now.
Yeah,
See,
I like
I
Seer
done
Visions before playing the land, period. To see what you draw. Because if you draw like it comes into play untapped land, like a normal land, then I'm perfectly fine playing that out over this Scalding Tarn.
But then your scries are no good.
Depends on the scries. Like, if you draw another land and you can keep it on top.
Yeah, so he did draw a Steam Vents here. Curtis in for 2. He's going to gain a life on that, so 14 to 17 it looks like.
Should be 14 to 19. No, Thoughtseize. Oh yeah, Thoughtseize here. 17.
Alright, let's see if Curtis has a follow-up creature to keep this Spell Pierce up, because he knows about the other... Okay. So he knows about the other Colgan's Command?
Yeah, he doesn't want to get blown out by that.
I assume he's just gonna play around that. I don't know that Daniel's under enough pressure to just run that into his open mana, though.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's done a good job of disguising the open mana here.
Yes, a less experienced player won't read the Springleaf Drum as 1 blue.
Certainly, but beyond that, like, even if you can see that that's an open mana, like putting him on a counter spell because he has a summoning sick creature and a Springleaf Drum untapped isn't necessarily an easy read.
Sure.
But yeah, like you said, he's not under any pressure, so he could very easily wait. But if he does run it out here, a blowout awaits, especially since he has to shock himself to do it.
Yep.
Man.
He's going to do it. Yep, here it comes. Alright.
Well, that is not good.
So what Affinity's done here is
Bitter Blossom has
Alright.
joined the fray.
So we've got the Shadowmoor All-Star Bitter Blossom.
Holy smokes. I believe it's Morningtide.
Alright, whatever. The block nobody played.
I played it.
I didn't.
Really?
Yeah, that
It
was.
was a good time to be playing Magic.
So I played Lorwyn. I guess I played Morningtide. This is the Modern Masters one you're
Yeah,
looking
get
at.
that out of here. Let's see the original one.
It's actually the Modern Masters 2 one. This
on,
is the
Jake.
original art. This is good enough.
No, I need to see the original print. I need to know what set it's from, basically.
Then that summer,
There
yes,
we go,
Morningtide, you're
Morningtide.
correct. And so that summer I moved, or that April, I guess I moved to Las Vegas.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I remember that.
And so I missed those two sets.
Bitter Blossom down.
Yeah, so Engineer Explosives for 2 got the Bitter Blossom and both Vault Scourges.
Well, we can swing it for 1 here.
See, this is where you need an Etched Champion, man. If Etched Champion came down on this board, alright.
Did he
There's
just
another
sideboard out
interesting-
all of his threats?
You gotta
Gotta
take
take-
the Snapcaster Mage here, because
Yeah.
Snapcaster is basically a Kolaghan's command. Collective Brutality's
What's
A-
in
1,000
Curtis's hand?
1,000% going to get cast here. I assume after the Serum Visions.
Yeah, you definitely want to Serum Visions first. You really don't want to make any plays without the maximum amount of information you can garner
Yeah.
in a given turn.
Spell Snare is an important one here. So Spell Snare allows you to counter 100% of the spells that Curtis can play with his available mana.
Sure, and yeah, he topped it.
Well, I guess he can cast a 1-drop, but 100% of the spells you give a damn about. like I would literally let him have every card that costs 1 here. I don't even care. Just say go.
Collective Brutality with no escalate. Sorry, creatures -2.
Alright, so this reduces him to 1 mana. Oh, we're back up to 2 mana. It's the second time that's happened to me tonight.
Whoa.
Here's a Cranial Plating. See now, what casting that Collective Brutality did was it stuck that Spell Snare right on top of the deck, which would have been a premium draw here.
Yeah.
Lightning Bolt's going to help him out, and this Terminate's going to help him out a lot. But as soon as Dan finds any creature, I think he's well in control of this game.
How about an Arcbound Ravager?
Archon Ravager.
Man, I would have, because you know that the Spell Snare's on top. So Thought Scour target
him. Thought Scour target Curtis. Draw the Spell Snare the Arcbound Ravager.
Yeah, that would have been a much more clean way of dealing with this than terminate and then bolt the Ornithopter, I guess.
Yeah, see, here's the Spell Snare in hand. Now, so we've got. I guess if Curtis gets down to it and he equips,
Response to Bolt the Ornithopter.
yeah, this bolt's gonna take care of the Ornithopter, and then he's just down to no possible plays. Is this a Tassiger?
There is a Tassiger, and I do believe the time is ripe.
Yeah, Tassiger's gonna mop it up here. Use the Blood Crypt. All right, over. So you want to get the draw spells here. All right.
Got one of the draw spells at least.
So I love this is something I don't think I've expanded upon, but I love Tassiger's design that it lets you control what's possible to get back for you.
Sure.
I think it's just sharp.
Thought Scour myself. Push Static Caster. Draw.
Oh, man, both of those cards would have cleanly taken care of this Mem Knight, so that's unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
The Memnite is currently a 5/1.
Do you want to trade your Tasigur for that?
Definitely not. I'd play my Water Grave tapped here, and I would activate this Tasigur before blocking, and then make the decision.
Oh, we're not getting frisky. Man.
I can't imagine the world in which not attacking was the right move.
Thought scar myself.
Alright, Thought Scour again. Here's 2 lands. We got on the good end of the variance engine on that one.
Combat.
But we wind up with 2 lands in hand.
Play stalling turn. Pass.
Is shields down?
Yeah, shield's down. So an attack here plus
Play any artifact and that's game? Don't cast.
alright, we're gonna cast cast the Blood Moon, alright. So Blood Moon here is not the best card for Curtis.
It shuts down Daniel's mana base pretty well.
Right, but a huge portion of Curtis's mana base are the man lands.
Sure. I mean, if he's even running them, I don't even.
I mean, Blood Moon's
I don't even know.
good, but
What's in his hand? Is that a whip flare in hand?
Pass turn.
if it's a Galvanic Blast, these are still artifact land dash mountains.
Combat. Yep. I'll take it.
All right.
Yep. Go ahead.
So is this just game? Just turn your guy sideways.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You get the one.
All right. So apparently we had the life totals incorrectly.
No, I think we hit him right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, this cannot draw just 1 land.
All right. So
What
Daniel,
in
I
the world did we just witness? Oh God, I just
Yeah, that.
they wanted to play a third game.
You hit 2 lands.
I don't even.
So it's 3 lands in a row. Wow, that is unfortunate.
All right.
So I would be stone lying to you if I didn't admit that I sometimes have done that where I like attack in. I'm just like, oh, I did it one time. I'll admit this much. You ready for this? We're gonna blow the stream up. This is gonna be insane. I've done it to you when I've been playing on your team at a competitive event.
What?
Yeah. Luckily, our third teammate was sitting next to me and not you, because you would never let me hear the end of it. But like sometimes you just miscount.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean that's fine. Like sometimes you miscount. Honestly, that game was,
In the bag and like at several different points.
I just don't
I
I just don't understand.
I don't understand
Literally
letting the
anything
cranial
anymore.
plating resolves.
Well, he couldn't help the cranial plating because of the way he tapped the previous turn. But additionally, like, I mean, I guess Curtis just had the Stone Reed not attacking for 5 into a Tasigur because he knew. He knew.
He knew that Blood Moon was the out.
What's even going on? I'm pretty sure he cast more non-artifact spells than he cast artifact spells that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is a lot
The
more
Vault
odd.
Scourges are artifact spells.
True.
So we had 2 Thought Seizes and a Bitter Blossom
A Spell Pierce
Look, man.
and a Spell Pierce
and a Blood Moon.
and a Blood Moon. So that's 5.
Thing where I'm not on the
That's is that 5 or is that 6?
2
1,
Thought
2,
Seizes.
3, 4, 5. He had a Whip Flare in hand, but he didn't cast it, so
And then we cast 2 Vault Scourges,
a
a Cranial
Memnite,
Plating, a Memnite,
Sure.
an Ornithopter, a Ravager. So
Springleaf Drum.
he almost equal.
I just I don't know, man. We are playing other lands.
Vault Screen for 2 life. Go
All right, so this is a little bit more of a traditional
Opener.
opener. No turn 1 Thoughtseize.
So turn 1 Thoughtseize is fine, but you want follow-up.
I don't even like it in this match. Like it's
I was
decent.
playing it against the combo decks. I mean, when
Yeah.
I was playing it, it was when the Primeval, the Spring, Summer Bloom Primetime decks were out.
Yeah.
And so like you played against them, and you get like their one thing, it buys you a bunch of turns, and it's
Man, if this spell
life
sky
is
resolves.
fantastic. That can't target
That's not a
counter
creature spell.
creature.
Was I sword creature? I'm sorry.
All right, Spell Sky's good.
So not only has he kept Counter Squall in, but he has brought in an additional copy,
Go to combat.
which I can't say I'm thrilled with, but you know,
Oh, is that two counter squalls in hand? In a
2
tournament?
Counter Squalls, Terminate, which is pretty good, 2 Snapcasters.
Yeah, he's shocked. That's the only damage he's taking besides Vault Scourge and Vault Scourge Christmas. No, I meant
All right, so at the end of turn here, you should terminate the Spellskite. One way that you can keep up with this Affinity deck is using all your mana.
Yeah. Do you like terminating that over terminating the Vault Scourge in combat?
So terminating the Spellskite turns on your Lightning Bolts,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty important. Because like if you terminate the Vault Scourge and then
Go to combat.
you then have the Spellskite, and if he resolves a Cranial Plating, like Cranial Plating on a Spellskite when you have a bunch of Lightning Bolts in hand is like, well, if you have just one Lightning Bolt in hand, it's pretty bad.
Sure.
So it's fine. You're not concerned about being pecked to death for one.
Etched Champion.
Now this is a card.
We can see a Hercule's Recall here. That would be very bad for Curtis.
Oh yeah, you get his Glimmer Voids if you do this. Alright, so let's make sure this Glimmer Void trigger resolves. Yeah, Curtis knows what's up.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that was a big turn.
and he drew a
And pass.
Colligan's Command.
I think he drew a land to cast his Colligan's Command. Here's a Springleaf Drum into play. We know he has Ornithopter Follow.
Gets you like play Vault Scourge.
I wonder if you're gonna have Counter Squall in your deck, Counter Squalling the Springleaf Drum there is not the worst thing ever.
Might be the best thing ever.
It might be. I mean, obviously, Counter Squalling your Cranial Plating is like the best thing ever.
Yeah, that's the dream, but
That's the dream, but
I'm pretty sure you can't be picky with your targets here if you're going to keep it in the deck.
yeah,
Although-
there's only so many.
Counter Squalling a Blood Moon is pretty nice.
Sure.
Or a Bitter Blossom.
Counter Squalling Bitter Blossom is quite the sauce. Here's a Blood Crypt.
Man, he's
Dan's not
not afraid of the Blood Moon. He saw
afraid
it.
of the Blood Moon. Well, he's got Counter Squall up.
He's going
and
to
a
keep
backer.
Counter Squall forever.
Well, he's got a Counter Squall, and then if Curtis gets to 4 mana and has Spell Pierce for his Counter Squall, he's got an additional Counter Squall for the Blood Moon. You would actually,
But he doesn't have any pressure.
You would
is
actually
my thing.
Counter Squall the Spell Pierce so that you get both 4 damages. Yeah, that's fine. You just don't care. Yeah, I'll enjoy your clock of
Just passes
you know
the turn.
14
He's got to
turns
have
on the
something else he
clock.
can cast. There's got to be something in there. Is that another Hercule's Recall?
Man, if he gets Curtis to fire up the Inkmoth Nexus here, and Hercule recalls the whole bit. What?
Flash and Snapcaster Mage. Target Hercule's Recall. Cast Hercules. Spell Pierce.
All right.
One. Take one.
Yeah, so this is no big deal. He gets his flashback Hercule's recall spell pierced.
Then I'm gonna go to 18. That's Vault Scourge.
All right, here's a Vault Scourge. Here I would just untap. I might even just main phase Colligan's Command here. What is that card? What's that blue card?
Vapor Snag.
Oh, a Vapor Snag, huh? If he main phase Kolaghan's commands here, destroys one Vault Scourge and deals 2 damage to the other one.
Yeah, it seems like a reasonable play.
And he was offering off the trade.
Go ahead.
I don't know what the plan is here. I'm trying to formulate a plan for Daniel to win the game. And I can't do it. I think this is where you wanna Kolaghan's command.
Yeah, you definitely want to do something here.
Yeah, you can't just sit here with all these cards in hand.
You're not actually making any headway on Curtis's life total with this Snapcaster Mage.
Correct. This is where Kolaghan's command has to be cast. And you have Vapor Snag. Yeah.
Second man. That's champion.
That's fine.
Go ahead.
So you can Vapor Snag the Ornithopter if you have a kill spell for it.
No. He's got the Darksteel Citadel down there.
Oh, okay.
So is that a Young Peasy in hand?
That is.
Alright, so Young Peasy plus
Yep.
Hercule's Recall makes a big deal.
Does he have a Hercules?
What's the back card in his hand there? Is it another Snapcaster?
I can't tell.
Mox Opal resolves. Here's 3 mana.
That's champion.
Here's an additional Etch Champion.
All the champions.
Go to combat.
The aggressive attack for 2.
He's height.
I mean, he's stoked on having 2 Etch Champions in play.
Yeah. As champion's a big card here.
I'd be stoked about it. All right.
I think we're seeing a point where Daniel's kind of backed himself in a corner with these counter squalls.
Yeah, they really haven't done anything. If you would have counter squalled that Springleaf Drum,
Or even the Mox Opal this turn.
I'll scour myself. Trigger.
yeah, you got to pick something. I mean, they're not just there for cranial plating.
Scout snare. Steamboats. Drum.
Is this another? There's a Terminate, which doesn't do anything here against these Etch Champions. What he's looking for is his Engineered Explosives.
Sure.
I just don't think he's gonna find it. So, alright. Let me think. You can terminate the Ornithopter.
Mm-hmm.
You can then...
Yep. Block. Response. Vapor snag my Snapcaster Mage.
Alright. And he gets a token there, I think. But
Yeah. Alright, so one's himself to get his Snapcaster back. I don't know. I guess
Month Nexus. You're familiar with that card? Yeah. Archon Ravager. Okay.
hopefully this game will
Go to combat.
will confirm to Daniel that he needs to take these counter squalls out for game 3.
and game 2. He might have gotten spooked by the Blood Moons.
This is the 3rd game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, back to the wall here. And
Cast terminate.
Chris just missed lethal.
Terminates me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Tap draw.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, Chris missed lethal there. He could have sacked everything but the Etch Champions and the Darksteel Citadel onto his Arcbound Ravager
Mm-hmm.
and an end of the game.
Combat. Block an element. Take 2. Yep. I go to 14.
But it's pretty irrelevant here. He's going to win regardless.
He's gonna get a swing in for 5 here.
6 with the blink moth, unless so.
Yeah, I don't even think you need to get all frisky with it. Just send your 5.
Perennial plating.
Definitely wouldn't play that.
Well, here's the counter squall.
Counter small. Yeah. 12. Animate blink off Nexus. My blink off Nexus. So it's animated, then you're gonna vapor snag it? Yes. Alright. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play land for turn.
Missed more elemental tokens here.
5.
To the tune of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So with the 3 elemental tokens on the board, it would have changed the math here. Because it would have been
5, 6, 7.
then it makes lightning bolt a live draw.
Sure.
Because you can bolt snap bolt
Absolutely.
with his mana available. So that was just the 3 I saw him miss.
Yeah, I don't know that he missed any others.
Any others?
But that's why I'm not a big fan of casting the cranial plating there. Like, you know he's got the counter squall in hand because you saw it turn 2 or whatever.
Right.
So you can just swing it with your 5. I would have definitely sacrificed my spring leaf drum to the Ravager and just put 2 counters on it if I wasn't going to go for lethal.
Yeah, it just makes lethal the next turn.
Yeah, it just makes lethal the next turn. But
yeah, I mean, there's plenty to be said for not going for lethal. I'm not saying you have to go to
Right.
every lethal, but like against the 1 open mana, and my guys, I know my guys have protection from all colors.
right,
I feel fairly safe going for lethal there.
sure.
So those kinds of like very very tight plays are what pushes Affinity from being like an okay choice to like a great choice.
Right.
So I love watching Affinity get played. I'm glad there's people out there still playing it.
I think it's well positioned right now.
Yeah, I would consider taking it to a larger event. With the right sideboard, I would need to think about my sideboard for more than 10 minutes.
All right, well, start thinking. We're going to a large event.
Okay, when?
Sleeve up your Affinity.
Are we leaving tonight?
No, there's no large events this weekend because it's the Pro Tour.
Oh man, I'm so excited. Pro Tour's gonna be fun. All
Pro
right.
Tour is going to be fun. If you don't watch the Pro Tour, you should watch the Pro Tour. It's very interesting.
Concur.
We'll see you guys here in about 15 minutes. We're gonna
We're gonna go take a little breaky break.
Yep.
Bye bye.